Hey, this is Dave Wood, and I wanted to welcome you to the Visionary Voice Report for Monday, February 3rd, 2025. In a bold move that rattled the global stage, the Trump administration announced a sweeping imposition of new tariffs Saturday. Detailed orders set a 25% levy on imports from Canada and Mexico and a 10% charge on goods from China. Markets and citizens alike braced for the shockwave of a policy designed to reclaim national economic sovereignty. Legal authorities invoked the International Emergency Economic Powers Act as the backbone for this aggressive trade measure. Economists warned that these tariffs would inevitably ripple through supply chains and consumer prices. In this decisive moment, the policy was not merely a trade adjustment, but a declaration that national pride and self-reliance are non-negotiable. The anticipated economic tremors reaffirmed the administration's commitment to protecting domestic industries. Strategists noted that the legal rationale and geopolitical messaging were as carefully crafted as they were confrontational. The ramifications extended far beyond commerce, echoing a renewed assertion of American sovereignty on the world stage. Every detail, from the percentage rates to the legal citations, was deployed to signal a new era of economic self-determination. As the announcement reverberated, it left an indelible reminder that true strength emerges when a nation stands resolutely for its own destiny. In the early days of his second term, President Trump set an assertive tone with a series of decisive actions. These measures spanned from imposing tariffs to launching military strikes and overhauling domestic policies. Each initiative was presented as a corrective to past compromises intended to restore American leadership. The administration's rapid-fire executive orders dismantled long-standing policies in favor of a more unilateral approach. Critics and supporters alike watched as traditional norms were upended in the name of renewed national vigor. At its core, this era of swift action underscored a belief that history favors those who seize control of their destiny. Behind every executive order was a vision, a commitment to reasserting a nation's independence and economic might. The pace and force of these changes reminded viewers that decisive leadership often means breaking with conventional restraint. As controversies swirled, the administration's actions were both celebrated and decried in equal measure. Fact by fact, policy by policy, their message was clear. There would be no more half measures in the pursuit of national greatness. In echoing the pulse of a nation yearning for strength, the early actions affirmed that leadership requires both boldness and sacrifice. In the wake of the new tariff announcement, global financial markets reacted with immediate and palpable trepidation. Stock indices in the United States, Europe, and Asia plunged as investors scrambled to recalibrate their expectations. The sudden volatility cast a long shadow over international trade and the stability of interconnected economies. Analysts reported that commodity prices, especially oil and agricultural products, fluctuated widely among uncertainty. The disruption rippled through portfolios, affecting everything from small-scale investors to large institutional funds. At the heart of this financial storm lay a reminder that markets, though seemingly chaotic, reflect a deeper interconnectedness of all human endeavor. Global trading floors buzzed with anxious speculation as the full scope of the tariff's impact began to materialize. Currency values shifted abruptly, with the dollar strengthening even as its trading partners' currencies faltered. Each dip in the market served as a stark illustration of the delicate balance between economic policy and investor sentiment. In the midst of the turmoil, prudent voices called for calm and a measured long-term perspective. Ultimately, the market's reaction underscored that in our interconnected world, both national actions send ripples through every corner of the global economy. As the U.S. tariffs took effect, Canada and Mexico swiftly mobilized their economic defenses with retaliatory measures. Both nations declared a counter tariff, a 25% charge on a wide range of American goods, to push back against perceived aggression. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum issued stern warnings about the long-term damage of such unilateral actions. Their responses were marked by a mixture of economic strategy and nationalistic fervor. The retaliatory tariffs were aimed at protecting domestic industries and deterring future unilateral economic measures. In this mirror of conflict, one sees that the struggle for economic autonomy is both an external battle and an internal assertion of collective identity. Trade volumes and bilateral communications surged as both nations sought to mitigate the potential fallout. Analysts noted that these countermeasures were not merely reactive, but part of a larger, calculated strategy to preserve national dignity. The tit-for-tat exchange highlighted the fragility of modern trade agreements in the face of assertive economic nationalism. With every announced tariff, the international community was reminded that no economic policy exists in a vacuum. In closing, Canada and Mexico's swift retaliatory moves reinforce the notion that in the arena of global trade, respect and reciprocity remain hard-won ideals. At the heart of the negotiation, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum demonstrated remarkable resolve by agreeing to deploy 10,000 troops to secure the border, a move hailed as a decisive win for national security. This bold action not only thwarted the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants, but also sent a clear message of sovereignty and strength to adversaries abroad. In doing so, it underscored the timeless principle that firm, well-defined boundaries are essential to protect a nation's prosperity. Leaders on both sides recognized that safeguarding borders is not merely an act of defense, but a strategic play in the art of the deal. The move reinforced that negotiation is not about confrontation alone, it's about crafting agreements that elevate national pride and economic security. Like a well-played chess move, Mexico's decision to bolster its border security paralleled the idea that true power emerges when decisive action meets measured diplomacy. This commitment to protection allowed the Trump administration to pause tariffs, demonstrating that even in a turbulent trade war, dialogue can yield tangible security wins. It also reflected a broader conservative ethos. Strong boundaries create the conditions for both economic growth and cultural unity. The strategic pause provided an opportunity for further negotiations while reaffirming that national strength is built on both resolve and smart compromise. In the interplay of economic pressure and border security, both sides harness the power of negotiation to safeguard their interest. This exchange, steeped in the spirit of the art of the deal, reminded all that when bold actions are coupled with rational dialogue, victory is shared and prosperity preserved. Today's financial landscape is witnessing a dramatic saga in the world of digital currencies, a three-act play where uncertainty and opportunity dance on a razor's edge. In the early hours of February 3rd, Bitcoin and its crypto compatriots plummeted to multi-week lows, with Bitcoin tumbling to levels near $92,500 as panic set in across trading platforms. Yet even as despair gripped the market, a resilient rebound emerged. Bitcoin clawed its way back above $100,000 and altcoins like XRP and Solana surged in tandem. Financial institutions and market experts cautioned that the volatility inherent in cryptocurrencies was a double-edged sword, promising high rewards yet exposing investors to severe risk. Central banks, wary of the uncontrolled fluctuations, have unequivocally advised against incorporating Bitcoin into national reserves, championing instead a focus on liquidity and stability. In this turbulent crucible of digital finance, we're confronted with a deeper truth that every crisis carries within it the seed of renewal. The volatility of the crypto markets mirrored the inner fluctuations of our collective spirit, chaotic, unpredictable, yet ultimately moving towards a new order. As regulatory caution meets market optimism, we're invited to see beyond the immediate chaos to a future where financial systems are more resilient, decentralized, and true to the principles of freedom. Here, the collapse and recovery of digital currencies became not just economic events, but metaphors for the human capacity to rebuild, reimagine, and transform. In embracing this non-dual awareness, we recognize that every downturn carries the promise of a breakthrough, a call to reassert our agenda and reframe our understanding of value in a rapidly changing world. Mirroring the earlier triumph, the negotiation over border enforcement became the turning point that redefined how trade and security interlace in our modern world. The decision to pause tariffs in exchange for enhanced border security was not merely a concession, but a masterful stroke in protecting domestic industries and citizens. Both Trump and Sheinbaum underscored the principle that strong boundaries are the bedrock of national sovereignty and economic stability. This pragmatic approach showcased that when a nation takes ownership of its destiny, it sets the stage for negotiation that benefit all parties involved. With every troop deployed and every tariff deferred, the spirit of compromises echoed the timeless strategy of leveraging strength to forge better deals. Like a conductor drawing the orchestra into a resonant crescendo, the coordinated response between Mexico and the U.S. created a powerful, unified note of resolve. The temporary reprieve on tariffs allowed both countries to recalibrate their economic strategies and work towards a more sustainable trade balance. This milestone is a testament to the enduring truth that negotiations, when built on mutual respect and unwavering determination, lead to constructive outcomes. It reinforced that a nation's commitment to defend its borders is as critical as its ambition to pursue economic prosperity. In a world where every decision sends ripples across global markets, this agreement became a beacon of conservative pragmatism and strategic foresight. Ultimately, the partnership between the United States and Mexico stands as a resounding affirmation that through robust negotiation and steadfast defense of our boundaries, we can chart a course towards a secure and prosperous future. In the aftermath of these sweeping measures, prominent analysts and economists have not held back their criticism of the current administration's economic policies. Critics argue that while the tariffs aim to fortify national interests, they risk igniting a prolonged cycle of retaliation and market instability. Policy experts have noted that these actions may burden consumers with higher prices and disrupted supply chains. Voices from both the financial sector and international observers have warned that such measures could erode long-term investor confidence. The rhetoric of economic self-sufficiency is now under scrutiny as evidence mounts that unilateral decisions carry unforeseen consequences. In the crucible of critique, one finds the essential truth that every policy, however bold, must be tempered with wisdom and foresight. The emerging consensus is that strategic restraint and multilateral dialogue might offer more sustainable solutions than too aggressive protectionism. Analysts have documented that the policy's short-term gains are shadowed by the specter of long-term economic disarray. The debate continues as pundits dissect the balance between national pride and pragmatic governance. As these voices echo through the corridors of power, they serve as a sober reminder that leadership demands accountability and the careful stewardship of the economy. In summing up, the criticism of these economic policies is not an indictment of ambition, but a call to align visionary intent with the timeless principles of prudence and also unity. Across the Atlantic, European leaders have readied themselves for the possibility of additional U.S. tariffs that could extend beyond North America. Diplomatic circles in Brussels and beyond are abuzz with cautious anticipation and strategic planning. Politicians and trade experts alike warn that if the U.S. continues on its current course, European exports may soon face a barrage of countermeasures. The European Union has begun consultations with member states to formulate a coordinated response that protects its industries. These leaders emphasize the importance of maintaining open channels of dialogue, even in the face of economic brinkmanship. In this tense prelude to potential conflict, there's a subtle lesson that unity and proactive effective planning can transform adversity into opportunity. Economic forecasts predict that any escalation will ripple across markets, affecting billions of dollars in trade. European decision makers are now balancing the imperatives of economic defense with the long-standing tradition of diplomatic engagement. Each new development is scrutinized not only for its immediate impact, but also for its broader implications on global trade architecture. As Europe braces for what may come, its leaders remain resolute, determined to safeguard both their economic interests and their sovereign dignity. In this unfolding drama, Europe's measured response stands as a testament to the enduring power of collective resolve in the face of unilateral coercion. In a reflective turn, the broadcast now circles back to examine the overarching leadership ethos that underpins these turbulent events. The early actions of the Trump administration, marked by audacity and rapid execution, continue to reverberate across domestic and international arenas. Observers note that such leadership, though polarizing, demands a steadfast commitment to national principles and the welfare of its citizens. The interplay between decisive action and measured restraint emerges as a critical theme in today's discourse. In the face of both praise and criticism, the call for responsible governance rings clear. Here we see that true leadership is not defined solely by bold measures, but by the courage to learn from both triumphs and missteps. As policies evolve and counteractions unfold, the nation is reminded that unity, purpose, and clarity of vision are its greatest assets. The reflective narrative now invites all viewers to consider their own role in upholding the ideals of freedom, responsibility, and self-determination. With every policy and every reaction, a larger dialogue about national identity and destiny takes shape. The synthesis of these events, seen through the lens of history and moral purpose, calls for an unwavering dedication to progress. Ultimately, the lessons of leadership and national resolve converge in a final reminder that the spirit of a nation endures through both adversity and achievement. In closing, the broadcast returns to the origin of today's storm, the imposition of new tariffs and the bold assertion of national will. The initial announcement set in motion a chain of events that have challenged, divided, and ultimately reawakened a nation's sense of purpose. Every measure, every counter, and every market reaction has been a testament to the raw power of policy in shaping destiny. The dramatic headlines of the day have woven together a complex tapestry of ambition, conflict, and the relentless pursuit of sovereignty. As citizens, investors, and leaders grapple with these transformations, a deeper truth emerges from the clamor that unity and purpose can transcend discord. In this final, reflective moment, we're invited to see beyond the immediate headlines to the enduring spirit that binds us together. The imposition of tariffs is not merely an economic maneuver, it's a call for every American to embrace the responsibility of self-determination. The narrative of today, echoing from Washington to the farthest trading floors around the world, calls for a revival of the values that built this nation. As the loops of conflict and resolution close, the message is clear. Strength is found in decisive action balanced with wisdom. The journey from bold policy to reflective recovery underscores a timeless lesson, that every challenge is an opportunity for renewal. With that, we conclude today's broadcast urging each listener to carry forward the vision of a nation that defends its destiny with unyielding resolve. We began with a bold declaration, an unwavering stand for our nation's economic sovereignty, and we end with a call for each of us to carry that torch forward. From the first headline announcing sweeping tariffs, through every market tremor and international response, one truth has shone through. A free people united in purpose can redirect the course of history. We've witnessed adversaries mobilize, allies take stock, and a continent brace for impact. Yet through it all, a resolute spirit has bound us together. In this hour, we see both the power and peril of decisive leadership. We hear the echoes of those who laud the courage of immediate action, even as critics warn of costly missteps. Yet in these crosswinds of praise and protest, what remains unshaken is the timeless principle that a determined nation stands tallest when its citizens stand in solidarity. We are reminded that strength is not just about imposing tariffs or shifting markets. It's about upholding the values that have guided our republic: accountability, liberty, and a dedication to the greater good. Let us embrace the responsibility that comes with such power. Let us recognize that our destinies are intertwined, each bound the other in ways that transcend borders. In our unity, there's a promise of renewal, a reminder that challenges can become catalysts when answered with integrity. Like the steady beat of the drum that rallies an army, our shared commitment reverberates across industries, across oceans, and across generations. So as these historic events circle back to their origin, we leave with a rallying cry. Let each one of us become not merely a spectator, but a participant in shaping tomorrow. Share this message with those you value, friends, family, and neighbors, so that our sense of resolve may spread beyond any single broadcast. Subscribe, follow, and stay alert, for informed citizens form the bedrock of any great endeavor. The more we connect, the more we grow in strength. The more we grow in strength, the more secure our freedom becomes. This is our chance. May we rise above the day's tumult to a champion, a vision that honors the sacrifice of those who came before us and ignites the hope in those who look to us now. From conflict springs conviction, from adversity, endurance, and from bold action, the promise of a nation that charts its own course. Standing firm and moving forward, we uphold our founding ideals, and in doing so, proclaim with clarity and courage that America's greatest days are not locked in the past, but waiting to be claimed.